This is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to Lockdown Coverage. Your man Louie Tee is covering the entire National Football League like a blanket, talking Chicago Bears and Houston Texans from week 1 of the National Football League. This was a good football game, and the Bears made it very, very interesting, and that's what a John Fox coach team does. And this is a young Bears football team still trying to figure some things out, but they were scrappy in this ball game, but they just didn't have enough. We'll talk about that here in a second. However, for those of you who are first-time viewers of the channel, welcome, and subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and moving forward. I've also got other social media platforms that you can join. I'm on Twitter, @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. Give me a follow there. Also on Facebook, In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. So give me a thumbs up and a like on Facebook as well. So if you want to have your voice heard, you want to chime in and have your comment read on the air and we can converse back and forth, use the hashtag #LouieTeeLive, whether you do it on the actual live feed on YouTube or you're on Twitter and you want to have your voice heard, use the hashtag #LouieTeeLive. That being said, let's jump into the breakdown of this football game. This was my sole survivor pick of the week. I felt confident that the Texans at home would be able to take care of the Bears, and they did, but it was not as easy as I once suspected. Likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe in this ball game for both the Texans and the Bears. Let's start with the road team, as I customarily do. We'll start with the Bears and the likes from the first half in this game. Tracy Porter gets the interception. First possession of the game. Brock Osweiler tries to squeeze it in to Nuke on a outbreaking route. Sort of throws it behind him, which gave Tracy Porter, who actually had good coverage on the play, an opportunity to reach in there into the cookie jar and see what he could come out with. And he got his hands in there and was able to snatch the ball away from Nuke, which is rare, but he was able to get in there, get the football out, and pick it off to give the Bears some good field position. And they were able to capitalize off of that interception, move the football down the field, and get a touchdown. So good interception by Tracy Porter, even better capitalization off of the turnover by the Bears offense to move it down the field and get into the end zone. A 1-yard Jeremy Langford touchdown capped off the drive to give them a 7-0 lead in this game. So Bears coming out making some things happen early in this ball game. The final drive of the first half is on my likes list for the first half as well. I don't know what the Texans were doing, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But Cutler lets it loose down the field about 55 yards in the air to Alshon Jeffrey, who comes down with the football one-on-one with a safety. I don't understand this when they're backed up deep in their own territory. It's almost halftime. I didn't understand the coverage. I don't know if there was a mishap or a miscommunication somewhere, a breakdown. I don't know what was going on, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But huge throw by Cutler. We know he has a cannon for an arm. He cut it loose, throws it up to Alshon Jeffrey. And speaking of which, Alshon Jeffrey is on the last thing on my first half likes list for the Bears. Every so often, he reminds you why he has the franchise tag attached to his name right now. Then there are also times where he reminds you of why the Bears didn't want to commit to him long term. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But that huge catch was part of a big first half for Alshon Jeffrey. He had a couple of big grabs in the first half, and that huge catch set up Eddie Royal's touchdown in the first half to end the first half to give the Bears a 14-10 lead at the halftime break. So the Bears, again, playing some confident football in the first half of this game, took a lead to the halftime intermission. Let's go to the Texans and their first half likes. Lamar Miller running the football early and often. He had 28 carries in this game. I don't think he's ever had north of 25 in his Miami career. To have 28 touches on the ground, because he caught the football probably another 3, 4, maybe even 5 times in this game. So he was definitely a guy with a full workload in this game. And so they definitely said, look, we spent our money. We're going to use it and make sure we get the most out of our investment in running back Lamar Miller. Miller Lite being put to the test in this football game. I like that because he's a dynamic football player. And then they get a nuke bomb in the first half, throw it to Nuke in the end zone. Beautiful catch. And I don't know how he got his knee down, but he did in the back of the end zone for a touchdown to give the Texans what was a 10-7 lead in the ball game in the first half. Also had some struggles in this game. Told you he let Tracy Porter take the football from him, and also had a couple of drops. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But Nuke, good to see him getting the football, getting in the end zone, and making a play. We go to the first half dislikes for both teams. We go back to the Bears. It's the Cutler fumble on 4th and 1. Look, they were up 7-0 at that point in the game. They had momentum. They were driving. Who knows what happens if they convert this, but they didn't even get a chance because Cutler fumbles the snap. It probably was a quarterback sneak because he was trying to get it so quick so that he could get the first down. I'm going with the assumption that it was a quarterback sneak, that he fumbled either way. Put the ball on the carpet. Texans recovered. And it just seemed like that took the life out of the Bears early in this ball game, despite having the 7-0 lead. They're not a good enough team, and they know this, to have those kind of mistakes on the road against a tough Texans football team. You had an opportunity. They didn't take advantage of it. And to fumble on 4th and 1, that was a debilitating blow at that point in the ball game. That was my only dislike in the first half. I thought they played a relatively clean first half. No, they didn't always convert on third downs in the first half of the game. But I thought their defense was really good. I was surprised at how well they played defensively. Texans helped them out with some penalties in that first half. But make no mistake about it, they did some good things on the defensive side of the football. The turnover creating offense for them. The offense did some okay things. I actually thought Jay Cutler didn't look that bad. Jeremy Langford looked good as I expected. So I didn't have that many complaints with the Bears in the first half. To be up 14-10 on the road versus this Texans football team, got to feel good about that if you were the Bears going into the halftime break. Go to the Texans and their first half dislikes from me. I just talked about the penalties. They had too many penalties. And again, when teams like the Bears hang around on the road, generally it's penalties that do the trick, where you have a little something going on offense and then your tackle has a false start. Well, both of their tackles had false starts in this game. Or Nuke has a drop, or you get a penalty from Nuke, offensive pass interference on Nuke, which led to a penalty that hurt them on one possession. So those are the types of things that kill your drives. They were moving, looking for a touchdown. Nuke gets the offensive pass interference. All of a sudden, you're in long down and distance situation, and you end up having to settle for a field goal. It's those type of mistakes that limit you in ball games. That's what the Texans had in the first half, which is part of the story as to why they only came away with 10 points and was trailing at the half. Will Fuller with a drop on a deep ball. It might have been a touchdown if he caught it cleanly. Look, you're going to get one of those, probably one every game, maybe one every other game or so. He's going to drop the football, okay? And I've you know this. I don't have to explain this to you. I've done it all offseason, done it throughout the draft process. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I've watched Will Fuller for a while now. I can tell you that this guy's a dynamic playmaker. Again, that's something that I don't have to tell you as well. You saw it in this game. You've seen it all preseason. Just know that it comes equipped with a drop or two in the mix. You have to deal with it, but just know that he's going to make plays like he did in this ball game. And my biggest gripe of the first half was, what the hell were they doing at the end of the first half defensively? I don't know if Wade Phillips called that, or not Wade Phillips. Romeo Cornell called that, or what. I don't know what the hell that was. But to have Alshon Jeffrey never, ever trust a man with two first names. One-on-one with a safety, 50 yards down the field. Where's the psychological sense in that? You need to wash your face if you think that's a smart idea, man. Andre Howard has been playing some outstanding football. I don't want him one-on-one with Alshon Jeffrey. Never, ever trust a man with two first names down the field, 50 yards by himself. Come on, man. What are you doing? Less than a minute left in the first half, and you going to give that up? Again, I don't understand it. I don't know if there's anything you can say to make me understand it. I'm going with the assumption, and I can't confirm nor deny this, just to make me feel better about the play, that somebody made a mistake, and it was supposed to be more along the lines of cover 4, and the corner on that play, Jonathan Joseph just decided to turn him loose. That's what I'm going with. That there was supposed to be 4 defenders deep, and they were supposed to converge on that play, and Jonathan Joseph just said, hey, you got that, Andre. I'm going to chill up here and make sure that he don't throw nothing underneath. And I'm going to just say Jonathan Joseph blew the coverage. Probably wrong. Can't confirm nor deny that, but damn it, if that's the call, that's a dumbass call. I know that. And it cost them because 2 plays later, Eddie Royal was in the end zone. And just like that, the score went from 7-10 to 14-10. Bears leading at the halftime break. That was a dumbass call if it was, in fact, the call. Whatever the case, either poor execution or poor play calling. Either way, it cost this Texans team right before the half. Let's go to the second half likes. And we'll go back to Chicago for that. Leonard Floyd got a sack, and he looked good in this game, looked good moving around. He's going to be a problem. I like what I saw out of Leonard Floyd, and again, this is a young Bears football team, young Bears defense. He's exciting. It's exciting to see what they're doing in Chicago. Another exciting young player, DeAndre Hall. He's on my likes list as well. He made some plays. Gave up a big ball to Will Fuller down the sidelines, but he was right there. It was a perfect pass. Not much more DeAndre Hall could have done. That was a great pass, a diving catch by Will Fuller. I don't know what else you want the young man to do. They threw another one to Will Fuller in the end zone. DeAndre Hall with him step for step in the end zone, knocks it away. He had himself a good game. I like what I see out of DeAndre Hall. Long, aggressive cornerback that can do some things. Think he's going to have a bright future with this Bears football team as well. Those were my likes for the Bears in the second half. Not a lot to like. They didn't score a single point and never really threatened to score in the second half. So not many things you should like from the Bears in this football game in the second half. But I did like those young fellas, the rookies, standing out and making some plays, making their presence felt in this ball game. Let's go to the Texans and my second half likes for them. Andre Howard with the interception of Jay Cutler on the first possession of the second half to get the ball rolling for the Texans to get some points on the scoreboard. Andre Howard making a play on the football. Cutler had a miscommunication with rookie Kevin White, or second-year player who is essentially for all intents and purposes a rookie, Kevin White, playing in his first NFL game after sitting out the entire 2015 NFL season. Made a mistake. And really, this wasn't on Cutler. This was more on Kevin White. He was supposed to come back to the football, and we saw it in the Giants game with Sterling Shepard. Eli Manning, assuming that his rookie knew to come back to the ball, throws him the football. He doesn't come back and gets picked off. Same thing here. Kevin White's supposed to come back to the ball. Cutler anticipated. Actually, Cutler was anticipating him continuing his route to the outside. It was a little bit of a Z out where you go inside and you come back outside, almost like a little option route type of deal. And he didn't go all the way out. He stopped. And Cutler anticipated him continuing his route to the outside. Ball went right to Andre Howard, who picked it off. Will Fuller is on my likes list in the second half for the Texans. How can you not like what Will Fuller was able to put forth? You know, about 4 or 5 grabs in this game, over 100 yards, and that beautiful wide receiver screen that he caught. It was low. He dug it out of the turf and went and took it in the end zone. And so a number of big plays, showed off some good ball skills on a pass down by the end zone, and it was a laser. And Brock Osweiler was throwing the football with some heat on it, some hot sauce to go in his football game. He snatched that one with a defender draped all over him. So every now and again, you'll get a concentration lapse where he'll drop one, but he can also make plays like that where he can go up and get the football and snatch it out of the air. Great debut for Will Fuller in this football game. Texans defense is on my likes list. After struggling a little bit in the first half, surrendering 14 points to the Bears, they didn't give up a single point in that second half. They really got after Jay Cutler in the second half of this game. Whitney Merciless was leading the charge. He had 2 sacks, including a forced fumble that I don't know how the Texans did not recover, but Whitney Merciless and that group up front really did a number on Jay Cutler, really impacting him, making him uncomfortable in the pocket, hitting him repeatedly. This defense took over this game in the second half, and they knew they needed to pick up the slack because the offense, even though they scored some points in the second half, they still weren't clicking on all cylinders. They knew they had to do their part, and this defense did in the second half of this ball game. And Brock Osweiler is also on my good list, my likes list. Thought he did some good things in this football game, made some dangerous, risky throws as well, but all in all, he's got a cannon, and he's not afraid to use it. Made some really good throws down the field. A couple to Nuke, who dropped the football a couple of times that could have made some plays. Plays we've seen him make routinely. He did not make in this game. Will Fuller with a drop on what could have been a touchdown if he catches it cleanly. So I thought Brock Osweiler did some really good things, managed the game well, avoided the big mistake, even though he did have the interception early in the game on a pass that was a little behind Nuke. Still thought Nuke could have fought for that a little bit more and not allowed it to be picked off. But whatever the case may be, thought Brock Osweiler in his Texans debut played well enough to have them win the game, and that they did. Let's go to the dislikes for both teams in the second half of this game, starting with the Bears. Cutler interception and Andre Howler. I basically explained that Kevin White was supposed to continue outside on his route. He stopped. Cutler anticipated him continuing the route to the outside and anticipated that throwing the football outside, and Kevin White simply was not there. Andre Howell picks the football off. Really not Jay Cutler's fault. Alshon Jeffrey with a drop on 3rd and 7. If you're the Bears and you're trying to get something going in the second half of this ball game, you need him to come down with this football. And that's why I don't trust a man with 2 first names right there, because you get the good Alshon early in the ball game with a deep ball catch. You get the great Alshon with about a 55-yard catch one-on-one where he climbs the ladder and goes up and gets the football late in the first half that leads to a touchdown. And then you get the Alshon Jeffrey, the one that I don't trust with 2 first names, that drops the football on a comeback on 3rd and 7 when he's got a chance to pick up 15. Those are the problems that you have with Alshon Jeffrey. And outside of his injury history, you'll every now and again get a drop out of him. And for a guy looking to get paid the way that he's looking to be paid, I need you to catch that football every time, okay? And every now and again you'll get a drop from a guy, but he drops it way too often for my liking. Texans second half dislikes, only have 1. I thought they really did some good things defensively. Offensively, they could have done a little bit more, but they did enough to win the football game, so I'm not going to complain there. Still have some gelling to do. Remember, both of their left tackle was out. Dwayne Brown was out in this game. You have new parts, new quarterback, new running back, new receivers littered everywhere. You're working in Anderson at tight end. A lot of moving parts there, a lot of different faces in this offense. So there's going to be a little bit of a growth and a curve for these guys. Can't expect them to gel overnight. So I'm not going to beat them up for that. But to lose Brian Cushing to a torn MCL, that stings. Not going to be gone the entire year, but seems like he can't stay healthy. Last year he was basically able to do so, but that's been, for him, a rare occurrence. And that hurts because he's one of those guys that's a veteran leader, heart and soul type of guy on that defense. He's going to miss some time with that torn MCL. So that's my 1 dislike in the second half of this game for the Texans. They get it done 23-14, do the Texans. It was not pretty, but it was gritty and it was a W. And at the end of the day, nobody's going to look back on this win a month from now and say, wow, they didn't play well against the Bears. They're going to say you won against the Bears, and that's all that matters. Get the W's, stack them up like bricks, let everybody else sort them out later on in the season, and hopefully you do enough stacking of bricks and W's at the end to get a ticket to the dance. No banana in the tailpipes for either one of these teams. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary from either one of these teams. The Bears are a young football team. I thought Cutler actually didn't play that bad. I still reserve judgment on what he's going to do for this team this year, but I didn't think he played bad at all in this football game. As a matter of fact, I thought he did enough good things to put them in a position to at least have a shot late in this game, and I didn't think he got enough help from the guys around him, like what I saw out of Jeremy Langford in this game. We'll see if the Bears can continue to get better and progress and win some ball games this year under John Fox. Texans, it was a great defensive performance in the second half. Offense still coming along. Be interested to see how they continue to develop and if they'll be ready in week 3 for the New England Patriots. I don't know who they play in week 2, but I know that's going to be a big one on the schedule. Thursday Night Football against the New England Patriots. That should be an interesting matchup. But Texans take it 23-14. I'll quickly check Twitter. I'm pretty sure that I don't have anything there. And I don't. So we'll wrap this thing up. Nothing in the discussion box. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. You've been watching Lockdown Coverage. Come back and join me as I continue to break down each and every single matchup from week 1 of the National Football League. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.